Hi. So, yes, we are live and it is Tuesday live. My name is Wendy Ologe, and yes, welcome here. And today we are looking at digital parenting. Whoops. Okay. So, welcome. And while we try to connect also on our community on Facebook. Okay. So, digital parenting, that's the topic, how to raise and protect your child in the digital world. You agree with me that this has now become, something every single one of us want to look into, right? Right now. And we don't have a choice. Okay. We don't have a choice. We need to start having this conversation. We need to start talking about digital parenting. Whether we like it or not, digital, it is what it is. Here we are in this, world where the world is has gone digital. So, what do you think would happen? We just have to look for a way to actually be able to raise our children in the digital world. If you're just joining me, please let me know where you are joining me from. Let me know where you are joining me from. And remember to invite a friend. Okay, let me know where you're joining me from, and let's also go live on our community. Great. So if you're joining me, just let me know, where are you joining me live from? Where is your location? We would like to know your location. Okay, and then tell me a hi. If this is your first time, put a hashtag first time joining you. First time joining you. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Do you know that today is named as Tuesday, as in TWO? So today, and in the calendar of the world, had been named the tools of the Tuesdays, right? So you have the tools. Today is 2/22, 2022. Who noticed that today is 22nd of the 2nd of the month 2022? And then it's a Tuesday. So, it was called Tuesday. Yep. All right. So that's a fun fact for the day. Okay. So who noticed that before I said it? So tell me where you're joining us from. All right. And today we're going to look at how to raise and protect your child in the digital world. How do you raise and protect your child in the digital world? It's been something that a lot of people are worried about. People are panicked about that. And the truth of the matter is, it's not going to end. We're going to be here for a long time. We have a lot of first timers, first time joining you. Yeah, we noticed the date. Awesome. Oh, great. Blessing says she noticed the date. Tell me where you're streaming live from. All right, Facebook community, are you here? Can you hear me? All right, YouTube community, can you hear me? Tell me where you're streaming live from. It's an exciting day, and we're looking at how to raise and protect your child from the digital world. Now, when we talk about digital parenting, all right, hit the like button if you're just getting in here. Hit the like button. Make sure that you're here. You can hear me. When we talk about digital parenting, many of the times, people look at it from, separate from what parenting is. Hi, Namdi. Hi, everybody. It is parenting in the today's world. So a lot of people want to, would I say, shy away from the fact that digital parenting is a thing. But here we are. We need to raise our children in this time. We need to protect them, in the digital world as well. So the question is, how are we going to be able to do that for our children? How are we going to be able to do that for our children? What exactly are we doing? I was reading something recently, and a parent said to me, I really do not know what to do with my children as regards the media. And the truth of the matter is that if you do nothing, then your children are just going to take on to do whatever it is that they see. Now, parents who keep an eye on their young children and also their teenagers online are referred to as digital parents. So when we talk about digital parenting, we're actually looking at you and I, who are able to look at the things that our children are doing online, and we're able to come up with strategies to help them, become good digital citizens. Now, you will agree with me that many of our children were born with the digitals under their arm. And one of the biggest parenting tragedies we have today is what we call, the knowledge barriers, what we call the the difference, right? And what we call the difference in socialization in today's world, where children now know more than their parents to know. Yes. So it's okay for us to come out and say, I don't even know how to do this thing. It's just for all these children and all of that. You find out why you must. You find out why you must do these things to be able to, raise your children differently. We have, according to research, there are 3 different styles of digital parenting. So today you're going to find out which you are. There are 3 different styles of digital parenting. Number 1 style is the limiting style. All right. Number 1 style is the limiting style. Number 2 style is the enabling style. And number 3 style is the mentoring style. Somebody help me write that. Limiting digital parents, enabling digital parents, digital parents. All right. Limiting digital parents, enabling digital parents, and mentoring digital parents. All right, so I'm going to explain it, and you're going to look at where you belong in all of these things that I have said now. Many of the times, yes, limiting digital parents, enabling digital parents, and mentoring digital parents. Many of the times we want to parent, just the way that we know. We didn't grow up with smartphones. For those of us who were born in the 80s, the 70s, as the first generation of parents raising children with smartphone and unmatched access to technology, it's not easy. It's not easy to give that support, all right, to your child. So while there are many reasons to celebrate technology today, digital trends can actually put your child in a place of danger. Yes. So you need to look at the resources that you need to protect your children from the digital age and make parenting in the tech world less daunting. All right. So we're going to be looking at ways you will help your child. All right. But before we get that, let me explain all of these digital parenting styles to you. All right. The limiting digital parents, so today you're going to be answering the question, am I a limiter? Am I an enabler? Or am I a mentor of my child's digital experiences? You need to decide which you are. And by the time we're done with this class, you'll be able to understand where you are on this, whole circle, and then also understand what you should be doing to be able to help your children even fare better. All right. Remember that you need to invite your friends, your family. This is going to be an interesting conversation. Your friends, your family, tag them to this post. Share the link if you're watching us on YouTube community. Share the link to your friends and family far and wide. Let's get this conversation going. If you're watching us on our YouTube, on our Facebook community, tag a parent, invite them to the community, let them join you. Because I say that if you do all of the things that you need to do all alone and you do not involve your friends and family on this journey, you might still be hindering yourself on the parenting journey. So let's do all we can to be able to do more. So enablers, as an enabler, you believe that a time spent on digital technology, on screen, TV, whatever, are all learning times. Now, what enabler parents do is that there are usually different kind of devices. There is game, there is TV, there is iPad, there are the phones, all sorts of devices. An enabler parent just think that, well, I'm going to give my children access to these devices. There's a lot to learn online, and my children should have this access. And then they are usually, in that on their online, so they usually give their children access to be able to take initiative on what to do and what not to do. So now the enablers do not really understand, why a child should be limited to technology. After all, they are born in this world, they are tech children. Why can't we just allow them? All right. Why can't you just allow them to just be, in the tech, community and all of that? Then number two, parents, the limiters. They are the exact opposite of the enablers. They've learned about the negative sides of all of these, being online, being on screen, and all of that. And they've decided, you know what? After all, when we're growing up, there were no smartphones. My children are not going to have access. And it's not, it's not going to kill them. So after all, yeah, we were good. We were okay. So they shut down their children. So there's no access. There's no, in your home, your children do not have access to tech. They do not have access to screens. You have the opinion that limiting them to all of this is the best thing that, can happen to them. Now you now have the mentors, the mentoring digital parent. The mentoring digital parent balance between the enablers and the limiters. The mentoring digital parents are the ones that have a media plan in their home. There is a plan on what should happen and how it should happen when it comes to media. Now, while the limiters, both the limiters and the enablers, do not have, any form of guide, even the ones that are saying they don't have access, which is almost, unrealistic, all right? Because your children are going to have access to whatever, using other places and all of that. So limiting them, is that your best bet? That's a question you want to ask today. Okay. So both the limiters and enablers do not have any plan in place. They are not thinking of teaching their children anything. All they know is, well, the internet is here. Oh, for the enablers, just go ahead and just have access. For the limiters, no, you can't have access at all. Yet the children aren't learning anything. Now, unfortunately, with these two styles of digital parenting, the unfortunate thing is that the children eventually, gain access to what happens online, and they get confused because there was no plan from the world. There was no, that the family does not believe in parenting with a media plan. No, so during the pandemic, we came up with the media plan in the academy. The media plan is called the family media plan. The family media plan, I'm sure the parents in the inner circle understand what I'm talking about. It's compulsory for you to have a media plan in the inner circle. Compulsory. All right. And, one of the things that we taught parents, in that year was, we realized that parents were struggling to be able to keep up with a lot of, the conversations online. Now, there were lots of questions that was coming to me. People ask me questions like, when should I give my children telephone to use? At what age? Every time people come with that question, we did a session here on our YouTube channel. You want to actually go through that session. Anytime people ask me, at what age should I give my child a phone? I ask them, at what age should your child, do you give your child a car to drive because your child is up to a certain age? So you cannot use age to equate when your child should have access to more than 30 billion people without any form of guide. So before you give your child a car key, I am sure you teach your child how to drive. Before you let your children go and buy things at the store around your home, I am sure you teach them how to walk on the streets, what to do, how to talk to strangers, what they need to know. So how come you think that when they are going to be having access and interaction with 30 billion people in the world, over 30 billion, and you can tell yourself somewhere that, oh, I can control this? Some people tell me, but I trust my child. If I start to follow up on many of these things, it might mean that I don't really trust my child. How do you mean that you don't trust your child? It's okay. I tell my children, I trust you, but the problem is that I don't trust the 30 billion people that are online. That's what the challenge is. I don't know what they can do. I don't know what they are set out to do. I don't know what their intentions are.
So I can only tell you what you can do to be able to protect yourself. So we need to recognize that it is beyond just saying, oh, my child is 13. You see, parents, their children turn 13 and then they buy a smartphone. You buy a smartphone to a 13-year-old who knows nothing about how to be a digital citizen. So you need to begin to ask yourself, that phone that you gave your child, does my child have a guide? Does my child understand what they need to do with a copy of that? So it's more than just, telling yourself, oh no, my child is up to the age. When you do that, my child is just up to the age to use the phone, then your child is going to crash. So the same thing we do with a car. If we say, oh, because the law says that you start driving at 18, and then the day your child turns 18, they didn't learn how to drive, they didn't learn nothing, you go and buy a car, and then you give your child the car key. You're just setting up your child for that because your child can't drive. So I say that giving your child a phone without a media guide is like giving them a car without teaching them to drive. Let me say that again. Giving your child a phone or access to the internet without a media guide is akin to giving your child a car key because they turned 18 without teaching them how to drive. So you need to ask yourself, did I really teach my child how to really be a digital citizen? A lot of our children do not know. They do not understand. And you know what? A lot of us do not even understand what it means to be a good digital citizen. Now, I often say that you cannot give what you do not have. And that's actually the major challenge that we have. A lot of us don't understand what it means, what to post online, what not to post, what to say, how to conduct ourselves, what to do, and how to be a good digital citizen. So our children just wake up and just flying. And then the parents who are the enablers tell us that the reason why they are allowing their children to use the internet is because they just want them to be tech savvy. Now, what I have come to realize a lot of the times that what we have is parents who are raising children who are social media savvy, not tech savvy. They are not the same. A lot of people are social media savvy. They have no inkling of what tech is. I know that there are many people who can use WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, but they can't create simple PowerPoint presentations. All right? They can't create simple PowerPoint. Thank you so much, Choma, for reiterating that. Giving a child a phone without a media guide is like giving a child a car key without teaching them how to drive. You can help us put that in the comment section. Thank you so much for doing that. So, you would need to understand that. So when you begin to do all of that, and you just say, oh, I just want my children to be tech savvy. And I don't, most of us, that's not what we're teaching. We're teaching our children to be social media savvy. Our children are on TikTok. They are on, which other one? Snapchat. They are on all sorts, gathering followers and all of that. And we're saying, oh, these children are really techy and all of that. Most of these children are not really techy. They're not really digitally savvy. They are just social media savvy. They are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. My children are 100% tech savvy. They are not on social media. They don't know how to use any of them. So when you tell me that the reason why you're putting your children, leaving them with smartphone, do anything, you're enabling them and all of that, is because you want them to be tech savvy, your excuse is actually not tenable most of the times. Because many of the times, what we do is to give them access to social media. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me see your comment in the comment section. And let me see you share your favorite emoji when you hear that particular line that hits you. All right. So the best thing you can be is to be a mentor digital parent. So how many of us are a mentor digital parent? We have We have explained it. So which are you? Are you a limiter? Are you an enabler? Or are you a mentor of your child's digital experiences? Let me see which one you are. Let me see which one you are. Limiter, enabler, or mentor of your child's digital experiences. All right. Let me see which you are. Write in the comment section. Okay. Write in the comment section. Let me see which you are. Are you a limiter, an enabler, or a mentor of your child's digital experiences? Are you just waiting for your child to just, do? Some parents reached out to me whose child got into pornography, watching content online using her smartphone. And she said to me, but these children, they need this phone to do assignment. They do need it to do this. They need it to do that. And I laughed. And I said in my mind that this parent is an enabler parent. All right. Mentor of my digital experiences, mentor digital parent. I'm a mentor digital, I'm an enabler. Thank you for being sincere, Feyi Shayo. Thank you so much for that sincerity. We have more enabler and limiting parents than the mentor parents. Trust me, I know what I'm saying. A lot of the parents who are, I can see that a lot of the parents who are saying they are mentor digital parents are the parents, in the academy. But many of the parents are actually enablers and limiters more than they are a mentor parent. So it's quite interesting, So it means that we have quite a number of parents who are, I'm a limiter. Bukola, thank you so much also. Bukola says I'm a limiter. We have more parents on the table of limiting and enabling than mentorship when it comes to digital parenting. All right. I'm a mentor digital parent. Thank you so much. So if you're a limiter, you are an enabler, please get our media guides today so that you will be able to mentor through your children's digital experiences. Your children need to be mentored through their experiences. Now, digital parenting is not only your child around their use of technology. Around their use of technology, how do you mentor your child? What do you do? All right. Dr. Angela says, I have shifted from being a limiter to a digital mentor parent. Ella says, I was an enabler to an extent until I joined the inner circle, but I'm gradually leaving the enabler zone. All right. The media plan. How do we get the media plan? I'm going to share. If you want to get the media plan, I'm going to share the details. I think my team is listening. Augustine Precious, help us share the link. Parents can get, the media plan to work on their, when you get into our store on Seller, you will get details, all right, on how you can get the media plan. If you're also outside of Nigeria, you can get a media plan online. You can get a hard copy on Amazon or a soft copy. All right. So that's one good thing. Thank you for, explaining how you've been able to move from being the limiting parent and enabling parent to becoming the mentor parent. It's actually very important. Now, what are the things that digital, 5 secrets of becoming a mentor digital parent? Apart from you also being able to create a system. We parent on assumption a lot of the times. There's a lot of assumption parenting. So we just assume so much. All right. We assume that, oh, no, well, the child is going to be okay after a while and all of that. All right. So let me also ask here before we continue. Have you shared this link with someone? Let me see how many of us share this link with someone or tag a parent to listen with us. Let's get this conversation going. All right. And let me start the first, instance. In today's digital world, most people don't think twice about documenting their children's milestone on social media. Is it bad? No. Is it wrong? No. But that's where being a mentor digital parent comes in. All right. So it's not just, parents who are doing the sharing also. We have schools, we have grandparents, we have gymnastic class, we have people, online. You go for an event, a child's picture is on social media, is on a website, and all of that. And once the image has been shared in the digital era, control has been lost. So, of course, it means that there is access. That there was a recent research that 30% of parents use social media to post video or photo of their children at least once a week. However, less than 30% are concerned about the consequences, even though 71% of them know that the image might end up in the wrong hands. Now, there's pedophilia. There's something that we call the non-touching sexual abuse. We did that. I wrote that in my book, Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. Thank you so much, everyone tagging people here. Awesome. You guys are awesome and sharing the link. All right. And thank you to every single one of us. So the virtual world is unavoidable future today. Now there is pedophilia, there is stalking, there is cyberbullying, there is identity theft and kidnapping. So the online risk of your child are many and they are great. So that's why we say there has to be lots and lots of caution. All right. But a virtual world is unavoidable future of the modern life today. All right. So children, your children are on digital life. Then what we're saying is you need to protect them. We need to protect them. What do we need to do on our side to be able to protect our children? I want to start with us, the parents, first. What do I need to do? Number one thing you need to do is to set rules for yourself. In the media plan, we have a session where there are rules and things that must be acceptable. All right? That must be acceptable to your family per time. All right? Think before you post. Is this content appropriate? Set your rules. You may want to avoid partial nudity of shots. This will depend on you, your family values. All right. We have a rule. There is no partial nudity of shots of my children anywhere online. It doesn't happen. There's no partial nudity of shots of me or my husband. All right. Swimwears and all of that. It's a decision. It's a rule. All right. You can make yours. All right. Do you want to post full frontal face shots? Do you want to post, an angle? Are you minimizing identification or, whatever it is? Are you sharing images with people you know and trust? You need to begin to review what it is that you take out there. Number two thing that you must note is that the devil is in the detail. Somebody help me write that in the comment section. The devil. I said number one. Who wrote number one for us? Who is our scribe? Who wrote number one for us? I hope you're taking screenshots to share on your stories so that you can get your friends to watch. Number one, I said set rules for yourself. Number two, I said that the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. Did somebody help us write that? All right. The devil is right in the details. Great. Strangers learn more about your children from the single photo that you share, where they are found during school hours and all of that. All right. You need to be able to set these rules. You need to understand details. What details do you want to be out there? All right. You might want to clearly identify your child, school uniform, badges, and all. I see a lot of people who snap pictures with their children's school uniforms, tiny, tiny details. And by the time I zoom in, you can see the name, of that, school. You can look at the location, share the location and all of that. All right. Tagging pictures to locations and all of that. These are things that you might want to check. All right. And while you might want to share, proud moments and all of that, consider not putting in a lot of details, those tiny details. So every digital photograph, contains metadata that records time, data, GPS coordinates and all of that. All right. So there are different ways you can look at how you can look at um, data. All right, you can use the screenshots and all of that. Sometimes when I do not want to share a picture and know where it is that my picture is shared from, I screenshot it and share instead. So after snapping the picture, you don't share directly, you screenshot it and share details. All right. So it also ensures that the image resolution is low. So it lowers the chances of the images being used. Now, this is if you're a family that is conscious about the details that is out there. All right. Number two, do not sign away your children's privacy. All the consent forms and all of that. You know, you look at somebody want to provide. You look at somebody want to make sure you provide informed, specific consent to any organization that wants to use your child's photo, even if it's your child's school that is using your child's photo. Let there be a consent. All right. Find out when and where and what the picture is used for. All right. Let them be involved. Let them take responsibility. Okay. So it's very important. Another thing that you want to do is that you ask before sharing. By the time my children became older, where we can have conversations on digital, parenting and all of the things that we need to do. I ask my children I ask them, can I share this picture? All right. Will you be okay with it? There are pictures of our children we've shared that in the next 30, 40 years, those pictures will not be okay to be online, right? These our children are digital, citizens, and it's important that we consider these things. All right. And when you ask them, it also means that they understand that they cannot just take anybody's stuff and just share. All right. So it also gives that respect, respecting them. And then also taking, people time out to share the things, photos and all of that. Have an open conversation about what they are happy to share and the things that they want you to actually put out there. Sometimes, I do a video in the home and, my children will be the first to say, this is not a video that should go out, and all of that, because I've taught them. I also say those things, all right? And I say, nobody shows anybody this picture is a family, picture, that kind of thing. We take a lot of pictures in my home, so much, and we share pictures on social media as well, but we are very cautious of what it is that we share. So when your child is old enough, ask for permission. It establishes the privacy first mentality. Where your household, where you need to set up a healthier relationship with technology so that they are old enough to protect themselves when the time comes. So navigating the social world is a complex one for adults and children alike. But with a bit of time and careful consideration, you will not only protect your family, but you will be able to create future responsible digital citizens as well, which is actually very important. So now this is about the parents being able to set these rules for themselves. Now, I also created a system where what are the things that you need to teach your children about the things that we're saying. A lot of people say, oh, use parental control, oh, use passwords, all of that. The greatest password when it comes to digital parenting to use is a connection with your child. The more connection and relationship you have with your child, the less you will struggle with being able to create all of these, boundaries, putting things on top and all of that. That is actually the biggest password that you need, the relationship. All right? The relationship. Very important. What relationship do you have with your children? It's okay for us to give all sorts of rules. But the truth of the matter remains that if there's no connection, rules can actually turn to rebellion. They say that rules without relationship can become rebellion. So you need to ask yourself, these rules, oh, don't do this, don't touch the TV, don't put it on by so time, don't do this by so. The question you want to ask yourself when you're saying all of those things is, do I have a relationship? People listen to people that they have a relationship with, people that they can connect with. And when it comes to digital parenting, it's been found that that's the biggest, All right. That's the biggest thing that you have. First, the relationship that you have with your child. All right. Connect with your child. How much relationship do you have with your child? What are you saying to them? Would they listen to you? I usually say that relationship trumps control in parenting. Relationship trumps control in parenting. It's in my book, Connect to Correct. If you do not have a relationship with your child, you see that control you're fighting, you're going to fight control for a very long time. So the biggest digital password that you have with your children is connection, relationship. If you do not have a relationship, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is that you say to your children. It's not going to work. All right. So create that relationship, which is why in the Inner Circle program, one of the first things, that we set you out to do is to create a relationship with your children. And we do it on a daily basis. We gradually build you to a system, where you create relationship with them. I said that relationship trumps T R U TRUMPS, yes, trumps control, PHS, trumps control in parenting, all right, not drop. Relationship trumps control, is greater than control, it's greater than control when it comes to, relationship. TRUMPS, it trumps control, all right? So please correct that. So relationship trumps control, no, not drops, trumps control in parenting. And we must understand, that as we are parenting, all right? So create a relationship. What relationship do you have with your children? Are you the alpha and the omega? I say that if your parenting is full of corrections, full of nagging, full of instructions, full of yellings and all of those things without any form of connection, trust me, you're not parenting. A lot of the times I have seen parents who, struggle through their way because, of all of this, because you think, all right, you think that you are, your parenting is just about come home. I know a lot of parents who are like that. The moment you're coming home at the gate, you're screaming from there. All right. Corrections, instructions, and all of that. That's not parenting. Without a relationship, that's not parenting. That your children should be able to come to you. It doesn't mean that you will not give corrections, no. Doesn't mean you're not going to give instructions, no. Doesn't mean that you're not going to, correct your child, no. We're saying, all right, we're saying that if that is all your parenting is about, then you have missed it on this journey and you need to retrace your steps. Number two thing that you want to do is that you must, have an ongoing conversation about what your children are doing online. Ongoing. It doesn't stop. So because we have a media plan that is very rich, reviewed at every point in time, we are able to have an ongoing conversation on technology, what is happening online, what they need to do, and all of the rest. All right. So social media for us is not, I don't know what your 12-year-olds are doing on social media if they are not, are they selling something? So we need to understand some of these things. And this would happen, according to our family values. Again, this is not me saying that, oh, this is how it works in my house, come and do it the way it works in my house. No, I am saying you must parent from the place of your value. But the question is, do you even know what that value is? That's the question that we're now asking. All right. Do we even know what that value is? All right. So what are they doing online? What is happening? You need to keep track. Know what your child is doing part time. Don't tell me, oh, I don't have the time. A parent reached out to me and said, oh, my teenager is always reading books online. I don't even know what it is that they read. I don't have the time to even check what it is that they are doing and all of that. You're not even sure that is a book that your teenager is reading. Do you know the number of children who are disguised, into pornography today? Is important. All right. It's very important that we look at for it. All right. No matter the password that you have on any device, without connection, you will miss it. No matter the password that you have on any device, Without connection, you will miss it. Okay. Number two, educate yourself. I see a lot of parents say, I don't really know how these things are. Your children call you BBT. The parents in the inner circle level 2 understand what I just said. BBT, born before technology. So they just look at you. You are fiddling, you cannot even operate a smart TV. And then you give yourself the excuse of, please, I don't even know how they do all these things. I beg, I cannot even learn. It's not my business. Your children write in your faces, navigate the world. And then, of course, your children are, you know, there's a different kind of social conversation happening because you can't connect with them at their level and it becomes a problem. You don't even know what is happening. Oh, yes, born before technology. That's what they call you. That's what teenagers call you. So my mom is BBT, born before technology. Don't let your children call you born before technology. Learn how to use tech. Learn how to use tech. Learn how to put a lot of things, in perspective. If you're teaching a child, and if you're parenting in the digital world, please note, you cannot do that without you educating yourself. So when parents come and say, hey, we don't need to learn, all these things that they're always telling us to learn, all this parenting thing and all of that, you will make a mess of your journey if you don't learn. You will make a total mess of your journey. You don't want to do that. Trust me. You will make a total mess of your journey. And when you do, it's usually very fatal when the chips are down. A lot of us do not even know that our children watch porns on our own devices, and you can't find it. You can't find it because you're not even interested. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to understand how to create a media plan, how to create a system in your home. You don't even want to learn, all right? So you owe your child to learn about their world. One of the things you owe your child is to learn about their world. Stop telling me that, oh, it's not my time. I don't know how to use all these things. You are being culturally unintelligent. Cultural intelligence teaches us that we are able to look at the culture of other people and begin to actually learn it. So please stand up today and learn it. Learn it. You need to educate yourself. Number 3, you need control. Many of the times that's what makes you a mentor parent, digital parent. Many of the times we have the parents who are the limiting and the enabling. There's the controls are the control in the enabling is very free. The control in the limiting is in the wrong direction. Even though there's control, but it's in the wrong direction. I remember, a child I spoke to who didn't have access to the internet, all right? Who didn't have access to the internet. And then, we were having a conversation. And we're having a conversation about sex. And I asked her what she knows about sex, and she told me categorically that she had seen sex online, but her parents were limiting parents. There was no access. There was nothing happening online. I said, how did you see it? He said, oh, somebody brought it to school. Because you can't control all of the environment of your child, the best thing you want to do is to equip. So instead of controlling, total control of this thing, which can seem very daunting. How much can you control? So your control will be actually you equipping your child. All right? Equipping your child. Equipping your child is very important. All right? Allowing your child to roam around the internet just because you think that, oh, everybody's on the internet and all of that. You're not doing your child anything. Recently I was looking at, the number of children that are on is it TikTok? Somebody that I know, the child who is 11, was talking, and we were in their place, and the child was saying how she has 2,000 followers on TikTok, and that she needed to really go back, rush back and make sure that she doesn't lose her followers. And I was wondering, she's 11 going to 12. That's my children's age mate. And I was wondering, at this age, we don't even know what a mess that is going to do to that child. That's why we're having children getting depressed. Children don't have followers. 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, they are depressed that they don't have followers. They're depressed. We need to equip our children with the right knowledge. Your children come harassing you, disturbing you. Oh, mommy, I want to enter Instagram. All my friends are there and all of that. You need to equip your children with the right knowledge. All right. It's important that we begin to see things differently. So instead of the fight of, oh, that's how it is that we've done it and all of that, why not learn how you can be in the middle, not being an enabler, not being a limiter, be able to help your child and not also destroy them. Now, let me also talk a bit about, and then the next thing that you need to do, I will talk a bit about that after this, is to create a family media plan. Your family media plan is what puts everything in perspective. Our children understand what is acceptable in our home and what is not acceptable when it comes to media. Their friends are around. Many of the times, they are seated and they want to watch something. And you will hear them say it's not allowed to watch in our home. And we don't also watch it for now. And, because we have a media plan, it's spelled out. And we have an ongoing conversation on why. We're not just telling our children this is how. We're telling them this is why. Because like I often say, he who knows why is greater than he who knows how. So if your child only knows your hows, your child will try to understand the why. And in the understanding the why, if they've never learned it, they might mess up the process of the why. So he who knows why is greater than he who knows how. Your media plan is what gives your children the why system. Why am I doing this? Why have I been told not to go online alone? Why that's what your media plan presents to you. And then in that media plan, it creates a strategy. It creates a strategy that will help your children understand what it is. A lot of the times I tell parents, I say, whether you teach your child or you don't teach your child is going to stumble on pornography. As the world is today, where we are at the moment, because there is porn everywhere. The other day, I was sharing with the parents in the inner circle on roadblocks, where children on roadblocks are actually having sex on roadblocks, virtual sex. And the children on roadblocks are between the ages of 8 and 15, at most 18. They are the ones playing on roadblocks. Then you now have adults who play on roadblocks. They get there, they meet adults, they have sex, virtual sex. And a lot of parents don't even know that these things exist because we are BBT. We are born before technology. Your child just tells you, I'm just playing a game. And you don't even know that there is, a sex system. So your child is going to get into porn. If you do not teach them about it, it will make a mess. It will make a mess. All right? So it is important for you to actually begin to help your children see things differently. Create a media plan. Let them understand what is tenable, what is acceptable, why is it acceptable, and why is it that is coming from this end. So when we talk about pornography and people say, oh, God forbid, oh, my children, many people have seen porn. In fact, every day on the advert that we watch on TV these days, there's porn in the cartoon that their children are watching today. There's porn, a lot of it. All right, there's a lot of it. Caris, I will answer your question when I'm done. There's a lot of it. So you just need to tell yourself that you need to actually put a lot of these things together. And then create a family media plan. Okay? When your children internalize this plan, they will be able to understand why they need to do what they need to do. All right, somebody is asking, how do I convince my children not to join Instagram at a certain age? You need to first of all create a family value. What does your family believe in? I do not believe in, you just wake up one day and you just decide, you know what, because of this, in our house, we're not going to. That's not true. And these are some of the assumptions that our parents, made that, got us to where we are today. I saw a lot of people who went to school, and when they got to school and did something wrong, I heard their parents say things like, don't you know the family of where you're coming from? No, they don't know because there's no specification on the kind of family that they are coming from. They do not know the kind of family they are coming from. They just know that they come from a home where everything just, happens. And that's how a lot of us are parenting. We're parenting, this kind, everybody just wakes up, auto run. You're just going. There's no belief system. There is no constitution in the home. If you do not look at family as a business, then you would go wrong actually parenting. Your family is first of all a business. And that's why, because it's a business, when you go to an organization, there's something called an organizational culture. So people who work in the bank will tell you that I've worked in the bank before. And I know that there were certain kind of hairstyles I couldn't make. In the bank, there were some kind of clothes you can wear. It has to be, corporate dress. That's the culture of the organization. So when we talk about the culture of an organization, it's because the bank, let's take for instance First Bank, it's because they understand there's a vision, there's a mission, and there's an organizational culture. Anybody who comes into that organization fits into that organization. It's not the other way around. Let me say it again. Anybody who comes into that organization fits into the organization. Nobody walks into that organization and say, where I'm coming from. This is not, we wear leggings, every Monday. So I'm going to be wearing leggings because that's what I know. It doesn't happen because there's an organizational culture. Many of our homes do not have a business entity. There's no business entity to it. Most of those organizations have constitutions. There are things that are done the way they will be done. Your family is first of all a business. If you do not take it as a business, then you make a mess of the whole system. So when you think of your family as a business, it gives you the thing to begin to build your family. You build the mission, you build the vision. There's a culture. There's a culture. Someone asked me recently that why do we like wearing joggers in my home? That's the culture of my home. It's a culture. Every home has a culture. If you're not able to build the culture, people will come in with their own culture and mess up your own business. There is no sustainable business that have no culture. And there's no sustainable business that waits for people to bring their own culture into their own system. Even if that business is going to adopt a system of culture that is coming from outside, many of the times it is, reviewed on a table with the board. Who is the board member? Who are the board members in your home? In the inner circle, part of what we do is that at the end of every month, there's a family meeting. So it means that everybody is seated on a table as a board member of the family, of the business called the family. There's a tagline. MTN, as an organization, has a tagline everywhere you go. What is the tagline? Do you have a tagline in your home? All right. We have a guide called the family value guide that we use to help parents create the family value, their mission, their vision in their home. We do that. The first thing you do as soon as you get into the academy is to create a constitution, is to create a value system. So you're going to be parenting from that value system. Your children are not going to, there's nothing, there will be nothing like, my children said, they saw this person, they want to be, it won't be there because there's an organizational culture. And even the people who come into your home will understand that this is the culture of the home. As you get into my home, you understand that some things are not tenable. You don't bring it to the home because we already have a culture. We're not waiting for you to bring your own culture to the home. So our culture is what has, that's what gives the template for everybody to align. But how many of us are parenting in that way? A lot of us are parenting, well, they should know now. They should know that I'm a very sincere person. My children know that I don't lie. How do they know? Do they really know? My children know that I really God first and all of that. Is it being shown? That's why the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who sees it may run. Every time when I think about how, the scriptures, right? I'm a Christian. I share a lot from the, Bible perspective. When you look at the Isaac, the generation of Abraham and Isaac, and where the Bible recorded that Isaac knew what it was that the God of Abraham told him. How did he know? Documentation. Because there was a system, the family system. All right? There was a family system that can give, put together the things that they are doing. So every time I see all of that, they knew that those fathers in the faith knew that I needed to document this to be able to keep a culture in my home. That's why Solomon said, I knew what God told my father David concerning the temple. How did he know? Because there was a family constitution system. How many of us run our families with a system? How many of us run our families with a constitution? Even those of us who have those constitutions, is it applied in the system of your home? That's the question you want to ask today. Is it applied in the system of your home? Or you just have it just hanging somewhere? Is there something that actually says that this is how this home runs? And until you get that right, parenting is difficult, especially parenting in the digital age. You need to get right. So you parent from that value system. That's where you parent from. So even if I come here and tell you, oh, in my home, we do this, we do that, that might not be your value system. Your value system is where you parent from. And until you understand how you can create who you are, why you are even here as a family, documentation. And we just put a lot of things and just throw it out. Write the vision so that he who sees it may run. Can your children see whatever it is that you're writing? So I'm responding to the question that said, oh, how do I stop my children for not being on Instagram and all of that and all of that and all of that? All right. That's how we have been able to get here. All right. You cannot get here by, oh, you just let everything just slide and just go and all of that. You must create that system in your home. So one of the things you need to take away today is that it's not about, oh, digital parenting is hard, I need to put password. What is the culture in your home? That's actually the most important thing. What is the culture in your home? What is the system that drives your home? So you can lock all the password. You can take all away, be a limiting, be an enabler, be a mentor parent, and you do not have, I want to assume that before you can call yourself a mentor digital parent, all right, is that you've been able to also apply these things. It's not in the words. I've said before that faith comes from hearing, miracles come from doing. We love to hear and hear and hear and hear. If you don't do, there's nothing that changes anything. So if you hear me today and you just say, oh, they talked about, oh, digital parenting, they said, oh, our value system must be right and all of that, and then you just go home. Nothing's going to change. So when the chips are down, so that's why your child will go and see the culture of another family and want to buy it. Because those families have, a very strong system in their home. I know of a family that every one of them had a tattoo. I remember this story, growing up. And it was a very strong system in their own family system, all right? The culture was that everybody, had the tattoo. It was okay. I remember another, boy who made friends with that family, coming to now come and tell the mother that she wants to wear a tattoo and all of that. The mother was very angry. Why will you say you want to wear a tattoo? You don't know that it's evil, blah, 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 and all of that. I started laughing. It was funny to me because how does a child know that that's not the family culture? How does a child know? The child doesn't know. The child is just there, just thinking, I love this thing. I love the way it looks on everybody in that family. What system do you have? It's not enough for you to have a family value system. It is more important for you to apply what it is in your family. It's important. If you apply them, that's where your digital parenting comes from. Because you must have built a culture that is irrespective, that is not about the culture of the, whatever it is that's happening out there. Because your children are going to go out there. If there are nothing, there's nothing for them to hang on to coming from a strong cultural system, they will miss it. I'm going to go back again a bit to me in the banking sector. Because when I got into the banking sector, I got into the system of coming to work early and on time. You must have listened to me for years. And every 2 p.m., I am here. It's a culture that I imbibed. It's stuck. We call it skills. We call it skills, that last, and habit, skills that transform, and habit that lasts. I learned the skill of being able to, come and work with time, and then it became a habit. So you want to ask yourself, so it's the same thing with me coming, getting to work early. A lot of people say, oh, you work for yourself and you are at the office at 7:30. That was a culture that I found myself in the first line of work that I started. So I didn't have a choice. I imbibed that culture. So even when I moved into an organization where I could go to work at 10, it was neither here nor there. I still came to work at 7. Yes, I still came to work at 7. So when your children have a culture, a system, when it becomes a habit in them, you don't need to struggle. You quit struggling. We're going to do a topic in the inner circle that is very close to this. How you are how to create a culture that cannot be swallowed by the culture outside of your home. But one of the things that I want you to take away today is you must write the vision and make it plain so that your children can see it and run. And you can also run so that they will see you running with it. It is when they see you running with it, that's when it begins to make sense. That's when it begins to make sense. What culture have you put together in your home? Without a culture, all those things we're saying, it's neither here nor there. Your children are going to go out there and it will look like the culture of whoever or whatever it is that's happening out there is better than what it is that is their home, because there is no. Do you know that you can create a culture that is against morals in your home, and it becomes a culture, it becomes part of you, and it becomes celebrated? I'm telling you how much. I'm just trying to share how much culture, how strong it can be. That's why people like Adolf Hitler was able to actually, have people love them, even though they were doing the things that were wrong. So even in the wrong things you can do, you can actually even create a system, a culture where people believe in it. That's the essence. That's the idea of actually, putting up a system that runs on, on a culture that runs in a system that is unbreakable. Go and read about Adolf Hitler. Go and read about our our very own Lion of Babylon. I won't mention names. But go and look at all the people that you think that they turn the world to the other side, and go and study them. You'll be shocked at how much culture can actually change the trends. So if you're listening to me and you heard me talk about, how to become a mentor digital parent, one of the things you must do is to create a culture, a culture in your home that is, indomitable. And I tell you, there's always something to give. There's always, something to put into your system. Do not parent. Don't wake up and parent anyhow. Don't wake up and just just sit down in one corner and just say, every day my children, they will just be okay, they will be all right. Like we say in Nigerian palace. I know some people who are listening to them and I know Nigerians. We say in Nigeria, all of us are gonna be all right last. The question is, are we really going to be all right? Are we really all right? All right. And now we are having children who are getting into the digital space. getting addicted to screen. Learning is inhibited. We can't even help them, learn and all of that, because we do not even understand the implications of many of the things that we're doing. Parents, go and study. Go and study. The war is real. All right. Go and study. The more you know, the more the rest that you have. I usually like to say, quote this scripture anytime that I'm teaching. It says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of their times. Without wisdom and knowledge, the truth of the matter is that things are going to get worse. What even talking about digital parenting, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And there are going to be worse things. I see a parent told me recently that, oh, I don't want to start telling my children about, the LGBTQ and all of that. And I'm like, are you kidding? In the next 10, 20 years, being married to a man being married to a man is going to be a normal thing, very normal. It's not going to be abnormal. So you're not even preparing your child for the world that they're going to see in the next 10, 20 years. It's even an error in itself. So it's not a God forbid matter. That's where we are. That's where we are. And this culture, this culture is what is actually going to eat up the world. So what are you doing in this whole space? How are you equipping your child? How are you can't protect them forever? How long are you going to put them in your home? Your room is too small to to raise any human being. Too small. All right. Too small. Too small. It is important that you apply the things that you're hearing beyond just hearing them. It's important that you seek knowledge. You seek knowledge. You seek knowledge. If you do not have knowledge, you will struggle. Yeah, it's not a prophecy. I am telling you the truth. You will struggle, and the struggle will be so real. Our parents have their challenges, but trust me, it's nothing like what is coming on us. It's nothing like what is going to come in the next 10, 20 years. I have had a conversation with my father-in-law, and Prof said to me, I get scared when children are born every day. I'm scared. I'm scared for the children who are coming, because I look at the change and it's so drastic. And the world, the world is fast, furious, and very fast. Very fast. So don't rely on what you hear there. I call it knowledge constipation. Though you are running all around, knowledge here, knowledge there. Stay onto a process. Commit to a process. Commit to a process. One of the things that I tell parents in the academy is that stay here, listen, commit to the process, and run this race to the finish line. All right. So I am going to be ending this session. We have done 10 minutes extra of according to the parents in the inner circle, they will say is preaching session. 10 minutes extra preaching session. But it's been so rewarding having this conversation with you. And I am going to all right. So thank you, and do have an amazing day. Thank you all, and bye. See you next Tuesday. Remember that you can join the academy. If you want to join the academy, you can reach out to us with this number that is scrolling right under the scroller. You can join the inner circle. Book a slot now and get prepared for this journey. All right, don't overwhelm yourself. There's a lot to learn. You just need to stay on a system, stay and build all of the culture that you need to build per time, and then work on it. Thank you so much, everybody. Did you learn anything today? Did you have, if you had any if you put your favorite quote right in the comment section, and hit the like button if this was worth your time. Thank you so much for joining me again and again. I know people who join me all the time, all right, every Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. And then thank you also. I saw that a lot of people sent me a chat recently. Tagged me on the Tony Elumelu's foundation, recently. And I am very, very, very grateful for that. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Share your favorite quotes, take screenshots, share your stories, tell people about TIP. We will be glad that you did. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've not registered to book a slot in the inner circle, do it now. Trust me, it's one of the best things that can happen to you on this journey. Somebody said, the parents in the inner circle said the inner circle is undersold, and I think it's true. So we decided that we're going to sell it even much, much more. So we're going to be trying to sell it much, much more, all right, into the system. So get to know about the inner circle, send us a chat, and then we will give you details. Have an amazing day, everybody, and hit that like button. Don't forget to share with your family and friends. Have